Hi guys, welcome back to our daily market analysis and let's get started. So Nifty, it's been a lot of time that I did this particular daily market analysis from 17th of Feb till this date. 17th of Feb is when I analyzed the market last, and to my surprise, it is on to the same sort of level. 25,800 is acting as a resistance and 25,500 again is acting as a support, even though Nifty did trap this two times, again for the selling thing, but now it has found a quite nice of a double bottom pattern. Yeah, double bottom confirmation on the chart. 25,000 again, what do you say, 800, 25,500 again is acting as a support. Just wait a minute. This is support, and 25,800 is acting as a resistance, but it looks like it's soon going to break. What about the option chain? So when we are trying to understand option chain, tomorrow is going to be the expiry. So 25,700 has like a lot of put writing happening onto the lower levels and call unwinding. And when we are trying to think of, as there's no major resistance other than 25,750, but again 26,000 next resistance. So lot of put writing happening at below levels and call unwinding. Again, a lot of certainty that there is bullishness in the market. What about the PCR? So PCR is at 1, so that's bullish. What about the option data? So options data, it's going to be interesting, after like 3 days. So the current status looks like that, 49,000 call options buy, 3 lakh 3.0. So overall, FI is negative as I left it. Pro is all like net negative, and client is bullish. Let's try to understand what happened today. Sold call option, bought put option, again bearish. Sold a lot of call options. Sold 1.65 lakh call options and just sold like 41,000 put option. Again, there's a lot of bearishness. And client bought 1.76 lakhs call option, so that's mega bullish. So FI and Pro are bearish as I left it, and client is bullish again, but the option chain is not telling the same. So let's try to understand what's happening into the futures. So they have reduced the futures selling position substantially over a period of time, but it's the FI today, what do you say, एक मिनट, मैं रिकॉर्डिंग कर रहा था. हाँ बिल्कुल. FI bought 687 crores in futures today, and in cash they bought like 700 crores in futures today, and in cash they bought 3,400 crores in futures. So that's a very interesting data. FI bought 800 crores in futures, and if I bought 3,400 crores in cash. Let's try to understand what's happening into different markets. Oh, Bank Nifty is mega bullish. 60,500 is acting as a support. We were talking about it. and again 6500 remains a support for Bank Nifty. 60,500 is acting as support. Yeah. Let's try to understand other markets. So Bank Nifty looks bullish. Yeah. So S&P is kind of negative uh, with all the things happening around tariff stuff. The Supreme Court told it that's null and void, and they have to remove it. But Trump is just fighting that tariff should be like it'll be 15%, 10% for all the countries. Some sort of things happening, but it's good for other nations, not good for US. But there are a lot of tricks that Trump will apply in order to make the tariff thing intact. So nothing as such that changes in markets. European markets down by 1%. Nikkei is consolidating at the top. Japan's market, China's market, a little bearish, but overall the kind of AI thing that's happening in China, you can see the stock market's going crazy. Returns, it's giving very good returns. All the firms, Alibaba and stuff, BYD adopting AI on an enterprise level, creating a lot of revenue for the firms, and they are going to lead the next thing after US. Gold up by 2%, silver up by 5%. So yeah, the silver did break its resistance of 254, now heading towards 291, and gold did take support at 4,900. We've been talking about this on a monthly level. If we actually try to think of it, the next target is going to be till like 5,594. So it's not usually surprising for us. USD INR again strengthening after a lot of drop. TLT strong. So why was it getting stronger? I was trying to understand this. So if there is an anticipation that the interest rate is going to, let's say, is going to cut in the future, the Fed is going to reduce the interest rate, Fed rate, what will happen, that whatever bonds that are right now, so they are going to issue new bonds at a much lower rate. The current existing bond is going to see a lot of surge in demand, and that's why the EDV and TLT is going to increase. The TLT and EDV increases, that is going to, basically the older bonds are having a lot of hype in there. The people will go and rush towards buy the bonds. That will make the yields go down, and that's what actually is happening. The yields are going down. The yield is actually going down by 4%. So that's positive for the AI world, because as all the companies are raising a lot of debt, so making the AI, making the AI infrastructure and stuff. So as of now, there's no chance of any sort of bubble happening around the world. What I was trying to understand, what was happening, how did all the bubbles happen in the last 500 years? And there are usually four things: over leverage, overpriced, over investment, and there was one more thing that I actually forgot of. So everything, if you're trying to understand of the there's over investments in the AI space that we can pretty much see. The kind of PE that all the technology companies, the AI companies in US and China, they are seeing massive amount of valuation. So that's overpricing, right? That's overpriced, over investing, and now what do you say, something called as like now that if the interest rate, let's say, right now, if the moment interest rate starts to go up, if the cycle reverses, and they're taking over leverage. Yeah, so over leverage was the point I was trying to think of. And now all these companies are trying to take a lot of debt in order to build a lot of infrastructure around AI, which is going to negatively impact the overall space. So the moment they take debt and the price of the debt goes up, right, the price of interest rate, the interest rate cycle goes up, they won't be able to sustain it, and then there's a chance of that the overall bubble might actually shift and it will burst. But yeah, that is something that is happening into the space. So a lower interest rate is pretty much very good for the overall markets, not only equity markets around the world. But all this interesting enough, I was giving this verdict that US oil is going to break its $65 at a very good conviction, and surprisingly it's happening, and I'm actually happy for this. Yeah. So the $65, it did cross the $65 mark, and yeah, super bullish on how the US oil is going to go ahead, because the US is going to attack to Iran and stuff, and it's preparing that it's in 1 week it's going to attack on Iran, and it's going to be long sustainable war. Why is it the case? Because Russia and China are also sending help to Iran in order to sustain this particular fight. So it's going to be very much interesting, and let's actually try to understand what the Trump might be doing in this particular case. What about the BTC especially? Bitcoin, if you are able to understand that from the level that I gave $69,000, it's not able to break the resistance. So it's appearing in a pole and flag. That's what we call it. It's a flag and pole, flag and pole. So now it's going to sustain for some sort of period. Actually, I was trying to understand this. The ones who would have invested in BTC or any sort of crypto, like in 2021, they're actually making 0% return on their investments at this point of time. Even though many of my friends and stuff told me that there's a very good investable time when the crypto is actually going up, and all the players around will be like the best time to buy it. But guess what? It was not the best time to buy it, and now they are sitting the overall, the thing has gone down by like 50%. Any currency which is having like trillions of dollars of market cap, widely acceptable. That's what the trend was usually. Now seeing a lot of drop in the demand, even though the technology sector is doing fairly well, it creates some sort of that. What if the market starts going down as well? It's going to create a havoc in the overall Bitcoin cryptocurrency segment, and that usually what worries me, that what will happen to their investors. I lost money in crypto, but because the exchange just went bankrupt or whatever fraud they did, yeah. But usually not going to obviously sustain this particular game, even though, because there's no usually reliable exchange or broker when we are trying to understand this space. So that is it for today's daily market analysis, even though I did it for after a very long time. But yeah, the market is almost everything is at the same levels, and there was no use of doing all the analysis because a lot of traps. I was able to understand that this was a trap, this was some sort of trap, this was a trap. Even though I was not trying to shoot a video, but it looks like a double bottom formation, and the futures they're buying the futures and they're buying the cash markets, and buying in cash markets and futures shows that there's positivity in the market. And silver and gold again going to the same old levels. It's pretty much interesting if the rally will continue, and the gold will definitely going to touch the 5,594 as the world will have some sort of panic. Gold is the yellow metal that is going to shine, and that has been shining, even though everything has not, other than gold nothing remains. Everything just get destroyed. Yeah, with all the gyan for today, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.